You state, religious life is about staying in close touch with one's closest friend. God made the cosmos for the sake of friendship. He made humans to offer them his friendship and companionship. I still don't quite know what form of knowledge supports that claim. So I look around the world, and with my understanding of what friendship is, it's difficult for me to think of a God who is our friend that would allow the daily slaughter of the innocents, which happens on the earth every day. I'll give you an example. This August, there was a flash flood in a campground in New Hampshire. And a father saw the danger and got his family in his SUV to try and drive away, but the road gave out and the car tumbled down the embankment. The wife and a son managed to escape, but the 7-year-old daughter was still trapped. And the father was helpless to do anything, and he was running along the side of the caved-in road in absolute despair and anguish at his inability to help. Now, that is how I expect a father or a friend to behave. Again, the understanding I've received from Christianity is not just that God is our friend, but that he is our loving Father. I also understand from your book and from listening to believers that God could have saved that girl. My impression in listening to the way believers talk, for instance, if a mine collapses and miners are saved, it's almost inevitable that the family and friends will thank God for answering their prayers and saving them. John Ashcroft has said as he was leaving the Justice Department that God kept America from being attacked after 9/11, leaving aside, of course, why God would have allowed the attack in the first place. And you say in your book, we see the signs of God's care every day, end quote. So I take it from this that God, without question, could have saved that 7-year-old girl from drowning, as he cures some people of cancer or saves some miners from a mine collapse. Explain to me how a loving friend or father could have allowed that 7-year-old girl to drown.
Well, he could have made a different world from this. He could have made a world in which humans could not but act virtuously, and in which nature did not rage in its, for us, natural ways. And he could have made a world in which his will for love and justice and so forth was irresistible. But then we would not live in a world of liberty. We would not live in a world in which you could pursue your line of happiness and I mine and everybody else theirs. It would all be predetermined and always have happy endings and good endings. You can imagine such a world, but I think our predicament is different. The predicament we have is that we live in a world where there are these incredible sufferings. Ivan Karamazov said he will never believe in God so long as there is somewhere a little girl crying in despair in the night. The world has never been thus. And what the Greeks had to address this, every human being has to address this. And I'm speaking very quickly in abbreviated fashion, but the Greeks believed there was a fate and a necessity which was cruel and much more powerful than humans, irresistible and caught us all. That was the irony and the tragedy of human existence. Often we did ourselves in by our very strengths, and so on and so forth. But still, on balance, thought that Plato thought, we hunger so for justice, we hunger so for a better world, we strive for it. And this suggested to him that there is an energy in the world which allows us to see the absurdity. If you didn't have a view of the loving God to frame your question in, it would be no shock to you that bad things happen to little children in the kind of event you described.
What's a shock to me is